Hello, Seattle.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, world.
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland!
Well, hello.
Wholly independent and completely untethered since 2009, this is the Marty Reamer Show podcast.
Reamer.
From the epicenter, Seattle, USA.
West Side.
From their west side basement, lodged between the mold and the bad memories.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Here are your hosts, Marty Reamer and somebody else.
Podcast. Friday podcast with our very special guest co-host who joins us every other week on Friday. The editor-in-chief runs the entire operation at the Seattle Weekly. Your shade's not nearly as cool as mine. Mike Seeley is here once again.
No shades are as cool as those shades, I don't think.
It's just to protect you. One of these days, it will clear up and my eye will look normal. I don't know how the freak long I have to wait for that. I called the doctor yesterday. They said everything is progressing as they expected it would.
I think normal eyes are boring. I think you should show off your crazy Cyclops eye.
I scare myself. I look in the mirror and I'm like, how do people talk to me at all in a normal way? A couple of things we have to update you on. One is yesterday, and thank you all very much for the kind thoughts and prayers and wishes. My little nearly one-year-old son went in for an MRI yesterday because he had some seizures over the weekend, and we were trying to figure out what it was, and we were frightened to death just about the MRI procedure, to say nothing of the results that might come from that procedure, because they have to put the little kid out. They have to give him.
Yikes.
But he weathered it like a champ. He's fine. We haven't gotten the results yet, but we will sometime today. No, what I want to talk about is I had an ex-girlfriend who was in recovery. She was an alcoholic who'd been in recovery for quite some time. And she had very strong opinions about anybody who drank or used drugs. Just about anybody who drank, she said, oh, they're an alcoholic. And I'm like, hey, I think you can drink and not be one. Present company excluded, Mike.
Well, yeah, thanks.
But she did have one theory about anesthesiologists. She knew a few of them personally, and she said they're all drug addicts.
So are dentists, right?
It may be the same thing. Yeah, it's
mega cokeheads.
It's kind of this, right, because they have easy access to the numbing drugs. She always had this feeling that they knew the good stuff, and it was always, one for you, two for me. One for you, two for me. So yesterday we were getting prepped by our anesthesiologist for our little boy, and she was a wonderful gal. She did a great job. So I'm not second-guessing her expertise, but I think she was high.
High on what?
That I don't know. I should have asked her what prescription she gave herself earlier that day.
Smell crack in her office or something.
Do you think she would go with crack?
Yeah.
She has access to the full pharmacy, and she would go with a cheap street drug?
I'm sure her version of crack isn't like your and my crack.
It's like when I worked at McDonald's as a 16-year-old, and I mixed the tartar sauce with the Big Mac sauce to create my own custom.
I'm sure that was better than those two sauces by themselves.
So anyhow, she comes in, she starts talking to us, and she calls my son a girl. She kept referring to him as she, which is fine. I mean, babies are somewhat androgynous. You can't tell the difference. Right. But we would correct her, and then she'd go, oh, gosh, yeah, of course, I'm sorry. And then she would call him a she, and the very next word would be a she. So she'd say, does she have any adverse reaction to anesthesia in the past? And we're like, well, it's a boy. And she goes, oh, yes, I'm sorry. Has she had any other medical conditions? And she did that 14 different times.
Wow,
I was in there going, ding, ding,
those babies all run together, evidently.
And then when she walked out of the room, she handed some form to another doctor, and the doctor said, well, Susan or whatever her name was. I actually made that name up. I don't want to.
Yeah, you want to protect your identity.
Yeah, but she handed this form to another doctor, and the other doctor looked at it and said, "Well, you're an hour ahead of us. It's still only 11 o'clock, not noon." And she's like, "Oh, sorry about that."
I guess she just flew in from Denver or something just for the procedure.
Maybe she was already on daylight savings time. And
yeah, good point.
Was ready. The other thing I can only imagine if you care at all about us that you might be thinking about is Yaz and his family. Japan this morning or afternoon in Japan. It was 2:46 in the afternoon in Japan. They were hit by a massive, biggest earthquake ever on record in Japan, 8.9 magnitude quake. I think they say now the fifth largest quake to hit in the last 100 years on Earth anywhere. And Yaz, that was the first question I had for him when he came in. I said, oh my gosh, is the family okay? So I will share that information. Well, Yaz, you can share the information. What, is the family okay?
Yeah, they're okay.
They're all right.
I emailed my sister, and the sister replied to me, and she said that was the longest earthquake she's ever felt.
So even though they're fine, they did actually experience the shaking.
Yep.
It struck the northeastern part of Japan. Where does your family live?
Osaka. So here, probably like they live in LA, and then earthquake hit the San Francisco or something like that.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Just distance-wise, not culturally-wise.
That's distance-wise, yeah.
Okay, because then in that case, I'd have to give condolences that they live in L.A., but that's not necessary. In this, so but it definitely shook them.
Definitely shook them. Yep.
Wow, it's just unbelievable quake. By the way, at 8:44 this morning, Seattle time, the tsunami struck the Washington coast. The one they were fearing, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It was 4.5 inch tsunami.
Yeah, I feel like that tsunami struck the water taxi last night when I was taking it home across Elliott Bay. But those catamarans, they're pretty rugged.
They can handle
that.
that.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
That would have been an anticipatory tsunami. But man, no doubt you've spent some time online to watch the video of the tsunami that was sparked by this earthquake. It was about 230 miles from Tokyo. It was out in the water. It was off the coast. But the tsunami is unbelievable. It's moving houses and trucks and ships as if they're toys. Mm-hmm. There's a shot of a building that's on fire, that's being pushed along by the wave, and yet the fire continues to burn. The building moves through, like agricultural area on the coast there in Japan, and it just burns away. Like, unbelievable. 500 to 1,000 times stronger than the quake that hit Haiti, which killed 200,000 people.
Wow.
500 to 1,000 times stronger. Anyone who experienced our earthquake from almost exactly 10 years ago knows what's so unnerving. It's not only the shaking, but it's how long it takes. And they say
exactly.
This thing just rocked forever. I mean, when you see the video, you're like, will this thing ever stop? But I love the Japanese attitude. There's one shot that's quite common you'll see on the internet of a grocery store being hit by the quake. I don't know where it was, but somewhere in Japan. And the one worker, she's still trying to keep everything on the shelf. She's going, this is not fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I would expect nothing less if I were a regular shopper at that store. You got to deliver.
Yeah, and then the very next shot is someone mopping up in that grocery store and people just walking over top of the shards of glass going, we must continue to shop.
They did continue to shop?
They just kept shopping.
That's pretty nuts. Yeah, in other countries, you'd see looting immediately.
Yeah, not in Japan.
That's a very civilized society.
All right. So we wish the people of Japan and anyone obviously related to Yaz well. It's the first time that Yaz has talked to his sister in 2 years. So this is a breakthrough in and of itself. Is that right, Yaz?
Yep.
Yeah. Not very close to his family. Joining us on the show today, comedian Greg Barrett will be here in a little while. It's going to be one of those appearances where he just pops in the middle of the show because he's on Fox this morning, Q13 Fox, and then when he's done there, he will stop by and join us here on the program. For the first half of our show, first off, since Mike is here, I always like to find out what the Seattle Weekly, the crew at the Weekly, is working on. What do you guys got going there?
Well, I'm going to be brief since we're so action-packed with guests today, but we have a fascinating story, or two fascinating stories, really. One on the notion that pie is now the new cupcake, or so the New York Times announced. Our take being, where the hell did pie ever go?
Pie never left us.
Yeah, pie is way too proud and way too embedded in Americana to be a trend.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of our food critics' take.
No need for a comeback.
No, it's here. It's here, baby. Uh-huh. It's like the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones aren't a trend. They're not coming back. They're just here forever.
Right.
They're immortal. As in they can't die.
The pie shop here in West Seattle, Shoe Fly Pie, I walk by there quite frequently, and I look at them, and I always question the business model, and I say, can you make a decent living running a pie shop?
Right.
But this has got to give their business a little, even though you claim they never went away.
Right.
There were never really pie-only
Specialized.
shops.
Yeah, well, they were pioneers. Get it? In terms of the specialty shop. And the key to their business, I believe, is the fact that they do some really good pot pies. The way to make it roll is
I hate
to do
pot pies with a passion.
I dig them. I'm
you?
all
Oh.
over them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Anytime, any kind of food product where they just dump in everything in the kitchen sink, and with the pot pies, they actually put a cover on it so you can't see what's in there.
Yeah.
And then they say, enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Not my
like the
thing.
kitchen sink philosophy.
Do you? Good.
Yeah, I do.
All right, and the other.
With the
story?
one I lost my train of thought thinking about kitchen sinks. Our other story is about a gigantic rift within the deaf community. People who advocate for sign language and those who advocate for colloquial implants.
Cochlear.
That's
Yeah,
right.
not colloquial.
I can't pronounce it. Yeah, colloquial. That's stupid. Cochlear implants enable deaf people to hear. They're like magic robot ears. And there's several kind of old school deafs. I like saying that. Deafs. I'm probably offending a lot of people, but who feel that is hiding. Deaf people hiding from what they really are.
From your disability.
Yeah, exactly.
But it actually sort of cures your disability.
Yeah, it does, and that's the irony. I mean, it enables you to hear, to do one thing that deaf people can't do.
Yeah.
And yet, it's a tremendously pitched argument within the deaf community.
Seriously?
It's like the Red Sox and Yankees.
There are people fighting
Except
against
deaf. What's that?
There are people fighting against the device that allows you to hear.
Yeah, that one. I forget which side of the argument this person's on, but one person called it cultural genocide. So yeah, it's hardcore.
And you would think that's the ultimate solution.
I know, but some people can't afford the magic robot ears. It's like people denouncing the internet or punk rock. They just don't want to give up their very.
Well, are the people who are promoting sign language, are they like Amish types who are trying to keep?
That's actually a pretty good analogy. I mean, I haven't met these people. It was another reporter, wonderful reporter, Nina Shapiro, who wrote the piece. But you have some very conservative people.
Well, how does this
stuck
fight
in their
manifest itself? Where does it come out?
In the schools, the education. And there's a 4-year-old boy who's central to our piece who actually lives over here in West Seattle. Seattle Public Schools has to educate preschool kids who are deaf, unlike other kids. And they've chosen kind of the path of most resistance by teaching both sign language and catering also to cochlear implant kids in the classroom. So they just catch shit from all corners.
I'll be damned.
By doing that.
Who would have? I would have never.
I know,
guessed that.
exactly. And that's why it's such a fascinating piece.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what you can find this week in the Seattle Weekly. Mike Seeley is their editor-in-chief. Now joining us here, our first guest on the Marty Reamer Show podcast, all the way down from the Lake Stevens area. He is known as the 12-string surfer. Did I get that right? Is that...
Yeah, the 12-string surfer or the string surfer works out.
The string surfer. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got quite a reputation. David Lee Howard is here. He is a 12-string guitar virtuoso, a professional working musician since the age of 14. He tours the globe 6 months out of every year, and that's actually garnered him some success in parts of the globe outside of Seattle, namely in Germany, where he's a rock star. He's a virtual David Hasselhoff.
You know, as the grunge musicians like to say, I'm big in Belgium.
Big in Belgium.
Isn't that line from Singles?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We're big in Belgium.
Yeah, Matt Dillon's band. That's right.
He hosts seminars on the secrets of the 12-string guitar. He has produced 8 CDs in the last 10 years. His most recent, I had to move my our disc out of the way in order to make room for his. This is not his, that's ours. That's live from the Moldy Basement, but I'll put that one aside. This is David Lee Howard's latest release right here. David Lee Howard. David, nice to have you. Let's give a big warm welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure to be here in the Moldy Basement.
Did I misrepresent you in any way at all?
By no means, and you just can't exaggerate enough when it comes to the 12-string. That's just my instrument.
How much are you kicking ass in Germany?
Well, let's see. I play everywhere from the town festivals to larger festivals. 6,000 to 8,000 people, and I do a lot of little local work in small towns where I play the the town centers, and I also play pubs. I mean, I'll do anything from 90 people to 8,000, and I've normally on a 90-day tour I do 60 gigs.
I'll be damned.
I log in about 16,000 German kilometers on autobahns.
That's 10,000 miles, people.
Exactly.
I'll translate that for you real quick. What attracts them to you? Is it just your general sound, or are they just completely enamored by the uniqueness of the 12-string guitar,
His
or your looks?
Clearly,
Well,
come on.
possibly, but they tune into the 12-string right away. It's extraordinary. It's not what everybody's playing. It has a very orchestrative sound, and I kind of adapt it to every situation I'm in because I do have a kind of versatile repertoire. And
in popular music, I know the Byrds use the 12-string.
Absolutely.
What other bands were notable for a 12-string?
Well, the Beatles and the Stones had some major hits using the 12-string.
Still waiting for them to make a comeback.
Leo Kottke was a
Beatles?
proponent.
Stones, Beatles, all.
From the grave.
Yeah.
And I've just made it my main acts for the last, since 1976. I got fired from a band. So I said, I'm going to be a folk singer. And that got real boring. And so I started expanding on my style and adding more bass lines and lead lines and rhythm. And what came out was the string surfing style.
From a technical standpoint, what is different about a 12-string than a regular 6-string guitar?
Well, first of all,
where do you begin?
We have 4 octaves. We have 4 strings that have octave strings on them. That means they're higher strings. And then we have 2 sets of strings that are just double. They're jangly. So the double ones are... Can you hear that?
Yeah, the jangly sound. That was what made the Byrds. Did they use that a lot? I mean, wasn't that... You can't hear in his headphones. Yes. That's why he's pointing at
I
his
think
ear.
it's on the mixer there.
You need more?
No, I think you have to. You have to do it. There it is. So you're looking at a nice little jangly sound, and it's very forgiving. You can play the wrong note, and nobody could even possibly tell.
Nice.
That's good. That's a plus. Now, when you're picking at the strings there, are you playing individual strings or are you playing pairs of strings?
Yes, I'm always hitting 2 strings at once with the pick.
I see. So you don't pick out between the two. You don't pick out one or the other.
That would be pretty...
pretty difficult.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun.
All right.
You'd have to concentrate way too much.
All right.
I just like to jam away and just express what I'm feeling at this moment. I don't really have a program. I never had a program, never had a set list. I just go up and start playing.
Is that right?
Yeah. And sometimes...
Well, are you playing with a band or are you always playing solo?
Actually, I have two situations over there where I solo and use a girl on the bagpipes and penny whistles and transverse flute. Her name is Katarina Galen. We have a new product out called Celtic Storm, and that is doing really well in Europe. And we're touring Latvia and Estonia at these major folk festivals over there. In that situation, and then I also have an ensemble, which are basically musicians that stay out of my way, and we do all my popular songs, all original music.
All right, are you going to use this other device here on the first song you're going to play?
Sure.
You don't need to. If you're going to use it, I would love for you to explain what it is.
Well, let me just lay down a track for you first, and then I'll show you how that comes in.
Okay, are we ready here? Do we have okay.
That's 12 string right there. This is called the EBow. It's an electronic string exciter. You just run it over the pair of strings, and it picks up the sound like a violin bow. Well, Marty, you ready for my first song?
Let us have it.
Listen to this beat up old guitar. Like a river it rages around me. It shines like a rainbow through stars. And the peace it brings me astounds me. Listen to the sound of my voice as I howl out in reckless abandon. My free will, born from random choice, and my soul echoes through the canyons. Yes, I am the string surfer. Yes, I am the 12-string man, and I will stand to my cursor, and I will play the only way I can. Go. I took to the road like a fever, far from my northwestern hills. I was branded a vagabond grifter. There was nothing that my spirit could kill. Now it's been 40 years steady gigging. No hunger, not homeless to be. I'm adrift, a long lonesome drifter, just enough for my family and me. Yes, I am the string surfer. Yes, I am the 12-string man, and I will stand my cursors. I will stand to my cursors, and I will play the only way I can. Yes, I am the string surfer. Yes, I am the 12-string man, and I will stand to my cursors, and I will play the only way I can. I will play the only way I can.
Wow, holy crap. Well, there you go.
It's better than coffee. Way better than coffee.
Man, oh man.
Well, I woke up.
Very well done. A little sampling pedals down below you there, right?
Just a boomerang. It's a live sampler. It races the program right after I recorded it and played it. It just gives me a little bit of background, and plus it gives me some atmosphere. I like creating an atmosphere.
Sounds great.
Well,
Your voice reminds me a little bit of Ian Anderson.
That'll work.
A little Jethro Tullish. Oh, yeah. Why are you guys all looking at me like
because you're cross-eyed Mary.
Is it my eye? Is it my eye?
Yeah, it is the Cyclops now that I look at it.
I popped my sunglasses off because I didn't want Greg Barron
I think you just got drunk and vomited so hard that you popped the blood vessel in your left eye. I think you're lying.
I mentioned this a couple days ago that it's that this occasionally happens, like when you build up enough blood pressure, you pop a blood vessel and it will turn red like that.
Yeah, right.
And that is drama. That's what I want to see. David Lee Howard. Now you know everything about David Lee Howard because the song was kind of autobiographical.
Indeed, it is.
It kind of told the story. Hey, David, not to change gears here midstream. To really completely mix metaphors.
Yeah, that was terrible. Come on, man.
But I was wondering if you could hang out and play another song a little later, and Greg Barron's here, and we do a little switch and swap.
Certainly.
Would that be all right?
No
all right. Because I just saw that Greg Barron. So if you guys could swap places, that would be awesome. And Greg Barron is here as promised, comedian extraordinaire, author, talk show host. But let's focus on comedy because he's here specifically to do
right.
a few shows at Laughs over in Kirkland. Ladies and gentlemen, our old friend Greg Barron is back in the house. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Hey, buddy.
Mike, Greg, Marty, Mike.
You just introduced me to yourself.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I had no idea what
buddy?
you were doing here. Nice to see you. Sorry about my... it's up to you now. You're the guest. Sunglasses up or down?
I took mine off, and I can't see
You
without
gotta
them.
keep
What do you
yours
think?
off.
You want to keep yours on? You want to put them on?
No, you can't see without yours?
I can't see at all.
Oh, then that's awesome.
No.
Then you can't even see.
But I also like, look. I sometimes I think that these are my transition lenses, right? Like I'll grab them in the morning. I think, oh, these are the ones that go from light to dark, and these are also my transition lenses. And what they do is they allow me to block out the sun, but they also allow me to be a douchebag that has dark glasses on indoors. So I transition from that guy into the guy that's too cool with his.
Greg just called you a douchebag.
No, but
Marty.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I know where my transition glasses are, so I do it on purpose sometimes so that I can have them on because I enjoy it. I got old man's eyes, so I go ahead and just put them behind here. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Bono's coming over, and we're going to talk lenses.
Has anyone ever figured out the Bono deal? Is it the douchebaggery, or is it that he actually needs them? Are they prescription in any way?
You know, those are actually just to look at money.
His
Glasses is actually allow him to see money.
And to get to gaze into the eyes of hungry African children.
Well,
too.
those are right. That's
without
exactly
actually
right.
gazing into their eyes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't actually see what's going on here because I'll burst into tears and realize I'm just a singer in a band, and you've got flies on you.
I love the way, Greg, you mentioned transition lenses. Is that like that's a registered trademark, right? Are you getting paid every time you
Transition
mention-
lenses? Is that what they're called? Yeah.
Isn't that a registered trademark of some sort?
I don't know. Is it? Are we going to have to pay some residual?
Well, I was hoping you were getting paid.
I wish I was getting paid. I'm not getting paid for anything, man.
I always hated the transition lenses because they always seemed like they were set up for the wrong environment that I was in.
Well, the other thing about it is they don't really actually block out the sun. They just get darker so that you can be that guy. But then you're like, the sun still hurts. Like this is I'm doing this for you. Like I'm doing this so that you can't see my eyes, but I'm still taking in the sun's rays and driving into the creek.
It's still coming through. You came here straight from your television appearance on Q13
No,
Fox.
I got tsunami'd.
What?
I got tsunami.
Oh my God!
That's what they're calling it now. Yeah. So
that's right.
They decided.
I guess
that was more important than talking to sunglasses guy. They figured, hey, I know the world's stopping, but
not
so
here.
Greg Barron's in town, and now back to devastation.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, that was a good call, I suppose, on their news director's part to make that last. I mean, we didn't make that.
I mean, although not to knock Fox News, but how much can they really illuminate the tsunami in Japan at KCPQ?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, they do kind of keep showing you the same thing.
Yeah,
And then,
right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bust. Not that many people are.
Like how
are
much-
we making jokes about it? I was about to say that it's a bust because there's not that many. You know, there's a lot of people live through it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The numbers are low.
Should start
so like
rocking
it's like
some
the same-
tsunami jokes. Is it too soon?
It might be a little too
Okay,
soon.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we should at least wait till it's over.
Yeah, that's
How about
a good
that?
idea.
And check if the Japanese man over my right shoulder is personally affected.
No, I have family in Hawaii.
Say what?
I have family in Hawaii. So
Are you just randomly pointing because of the tsunami that might?
Yeah, because it's headed in that direction as well.
It already has.
Yeah, it came and went.
Yeah.
It was 3 feet west.
Is your family okay?
My family's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
So is Yaz. So is Yaz.
So is Yaz, as it turns
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
all right.
Well, I didn't figure he probably wouldn't be here still working. Maybe he would be.
He would be. He's very devoted to
Is that right?
the
Look at
show.
you. Bless your heart.
Yeah. Look at him go.
Bless your heart.
Just like the grocery store.
Yeah.
Devotion.
Welcome back, Greg, to Seattle. How are things? What are you working on these days? I know you're kind of a Renaissance man.
You know, I'm working on a lot of stuff. The thing that I'm most excited about is the thing you're doing. We talked about it last time. You know, the podcast has turned into this sort of thing. It keeps getting bigger every week, and we keep getting more followers, and we have this thing where we made fun of the Insane Clown Posse, right? And we say that we're a clown from the neck down, and suddenly I'm doing shows and kids are showing up in clown outfits from the neck down, and I'm like, this is all because of this podcast. It's weird to me.
Are they like
The
half
connection.
juggalos?
It's the other half.
Okay,
you know,
gotcha.
juggalos are like, you know, they wear like b-boy outfits and then clown makeup. We're the other way around. We keep it clean up here, right? You know, I actually still wear a cardigan, but then I'll wear a clown pant. I'm gonna go ahead and wear a cardi, but then I'll wear a clown pant. So we just sort of made this thing up, and we call it a pod cuddle, and so we call our listeners cuddlers and or cuddlers, sort of like we were just sort of mocking the Juggalos thing, and it became it's just great. I mean,
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
You must be psyched to be a part of this. It's a revolution.
Yeah.
It's the unpaid revolution. No one's
It
getting
is
anything.
the unpaid revolution.
Yeah.
What's your signature? You know, Insane Clown Posse swears by Fago Pop.
Right.
What is the Pod Cuddlers Clown from the Neck Down signature soda?
We don't have a signature. We are
Liquor.
No, we don't have a drink, buddy. We're a cookie. We are the American endorser of the Tim Tam. Do you know what a Tim Tam is?
No, don't even know what a Tim Tam is.
Whoa, hang on. Are you not living right? Do you not know what a Tim Tam is?
No.
Do you not know it?
I don't.
In Australia, they have these cookies, and they're called Tim Tams. And I got one when I went there in a bag full of goodies when I did the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And the name is Twee. I don't know what that is. It's a Tim Tam. I ate one and I was like, how do I make this my life? Like, how do I live like this? Like, I'm half hour naked covered in chocolate. It is.
You specialize in sugar.
And when you look it up, people lose their minds for it. But it's a biscuit covered in chocolate. That's all it is. But it's so good that people, right? You're shaking your head because you know, right? It's unbelievable. Yeah, the Tim Tam. So that's it. Yeah.
But not being imported into the States.
They are. The reason they don't have them here is because we would die. People in America would die. We don't have any restraints here.
Yeah, right.
We like cream in our coffee. No other country puts cream in their coffee. And do you know why we put cream in it? Because to put a pig in there would be unsightly. We would put bacon straight into our coffee if we could. Like, how do I make this worse for me? I want to speed up my heart, but I also want to stop it. Well, why don't you put butter in it? Yeah. How about a butter bread?
Bacon donuts exist.
Bacon
donuts are a classic example of what he's talking about.
I mean,
just
everything
fucking pointless.
Right? I mean, Starbucks went from coffee to like drinks that like, well, how can we get more fat in here? Like, and that's what the mocha latte. You know, they just start going, well, how do we get more cream and fat in here? Because that's what people love. They like their fat. Well, how about a cup of fat with the flavor? How about coffee flavored fat? I think you could sell that.
Reminds me of that line in Caddyshack where the fat kid just goes, "Are you gonna eat your fat?" He doesn't.
Oh, be damned.
Yeah.
It's funny because last night on the radio I played your routine, which is ancient for you now. Your love of pudding.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's a cry, and I don't know if you've moved on. Or if you're still championing. Yeah.
I'm not a guy that abandons. I'm not going to abandon you. I don't care where you're doing this show, buddy. I don't care if we're out in that tree next time I come here. I will not abandon you, and I will not abandon pudding. Yeah.
Yeah, because I agree with you, man. Pudding is so underappreciated. We were talking about pies earlier in the show, that pies apparently are the new in thing now. You know, they're made.
Yeah.
And but pudding is
That's
never.
a mistake. You don't want to go down that. Look, here's the thing that pies try and do. This is why pies don't work for me. They try and put fiber into it on some level. They try and here's fruit. Don't put fruit in my tree. If I want a breakfast snack, I'll have it, right? Don't make me have. I don't want to deal with fruit. It's caramel, chocolate, that kind of thing. Don't put a. I don't. You know. And I like a berry. Don't get me wrong. I like a blueberry. But come on. Let's be real about
pudding.
it.
You don't even need teeth. You don't need. You know.
No.
That's the great thing about pudding.
All you need is a hole.
Yeah.
That's what pudding's new slogan should be. All you need is a hole.
You are a marketeer.
How about that? Take that, Charlie Sheen. How about that with your slogans? I'll slogan you right into the ground.
Winner. We got a winner right
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Yeah, pudding. Hope I just made that. But I think I was always saying, "How you doing, pudding? Are you bipolar? I'm bi pudding. I'm bi pudding is what I am. Pudding." Yeah.
Where can you get pudding? The only place now is at a buffet. That's the only
That's
place
right.
where
it's sad, and you're using the community spoon. I don't want the community spoon because the thing about pudding is you could put it in your mouth, spit it back in, and no one would know that it hadn't already been in your mouth.
Pudding is going to be the new pie.
Pudding will be the new pie. Yeah. Well, you're right.
Pudding kiosks.
You have the power. You could make that happen. Why don't you declare that?
That's all writers do anyway with trend pieces, is pull stuff out of their ass. You know,
that's right.
It's not based on empirical data.
No. They like they'll go to two parties and someone will have had pudding. They're like, pudding is in, man, and then everyone decides pudding is in, and depending where you're writing it from,
it's dangerous. That power.
I love it.
That's good. Pudding is the next. Is for pudding in. Pie is out.
Pies will be out soon.
Or you could put the pudding in pie. I think they already do that.
Yeah, I think
in some states.
I'll tell you what I do. I am enjoying, and is the a cake ball. You know what a cake ball is?
No, my God.
Oh my God, they're happening. They're on fire right now too. A cake ball is essentially a ball of frosting that's been hardened, and then the inside of it is cake. But that cake has been made with frosting inside of it, so it's tender cake on the inside of a ball. It is not to be believed, and they are now. I knew it was going to get hot. Last summer, I put up a picture of one as my avatar on Facebook, and now they are selling them at Starbucks. The cake ball. It's on a stick.
Cake ball
It's on a stick. It's on a stick. They're unbelievable. You have one and you go,
I'm not a big frosting fan. I got to tell you, I like the cake.
You like just the cake, yeah. Well, the cake is unbelievably moist and fantastic. It might be worth the frosting to get through it. It's pretty. They're pretty insane.
Starbucks is really bringing the game to Dunkin' Donuts. It seems like
they're trying to really. Yeah, they're trying to take it to Dunkin' Donuts. Well, Dunkin' Donuts just stepped up and said our coffee's good, and everyone believed them. I went over and tried it.
That's a crock of
shit. It still seems swillish, man. Yeah. This is.
But you can sell anyone anything in this country. If you repeat it 3 times, it's a fact.
They took the blue collar. They took the blue collar route, right? They decided, look, we're not going to be...
they're kind of doing the John Deere thing.
That's
where
right.
It's cool.
Right? You know, hey, while you're having a PBR, which is also not a very good beer, why don't you have a delicious cup of not that very good Dunkin' Donuts coffee, right? Blue collar, and then eventually you go, I think I'm going to go back to taste. Flavor is coming back in next year. Are you with me on PBR? No. Are you a drinker? I'm not a drinker anymore.
I'll drink it because it's cheap, just because I'll drink anything because
But I feel like there's a lot of cheaps. I feel like there are people that drink it because it looks cool to have that can and have the PBR. Am I wrong?
You're totally right. I mean, it was absolutely a trendy thing.
Yeah.
The non-trendy beer is just straight up Coors. Not Coors Light, but Coors, the banquet beer.
Right. Well,
the
here's
urine-colored can.
Here's the thing. It's like when you, and Marty, you probably know this a little bit, but I do. Stuff that from my youth that was if you got PBR, your friend's like, dude, do you not have any money? Why do we have to?
Right,
it was a bummer to drink it. It's like, now it's this generation's awesome.
I had no idea.
Here's a can of awesome, really? Because in the old days, that was just a bad beer. Yeah, man.
I have to, before we completely go off the sweet topic, sweet... there is just yesterday my wife told me, who's so innocent, but she came across this article that in Europe now they are making ice cream out of women's breast milk, that this is the new thing that might be
breast milk cookies. There's a producer here in Ravenna, there's a woman who makes them. She's actually one of my buddy's wives.
A part of me said, oh my God, that's vile. And then part of me said, why didn't I think of this? Because this is one of those crazy inventions that you could easily talk people into, that there are so many nutrients in breast milk that you can't get in any other way. And people would say, oh yeah, well, it's disgusting, but I got to have my breast milk ice cream. Breast milk ice cream is the only.
I'm nervous about it. I'm not sure that because
nervous from a health standpoint, or just what
just
what
nervous
it says
about it. I'm just nervous about it. I mean, I remember seeing jars of that stuff in my refrigerator when we had our babies, and I'm like, that doesn't look that good to me.
Yeah,
it looks.
I am nervous from the standpoint of the factory that create.
The mass production is just.
I want to know who's. Yeah, you do kind of want to know who's. Like, how do you know that woman is smoking? Like, who's you don't know? Like you.
Do you ever think that about a cow when you're drinking cows?
Because cows all have a consistent life. We know what their life is. We get to drive by and watch the sadness. It all walks around.
You don't see the evil cow on the side.
Right. We don't know that it doesn't have a conscience. You know what I mean? It's not like these other cows that are running around now that are going to be giving. You know what I mean? We don't know what these other women are, what they're doing with their lives, or what they. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. The source. Maybe
they might be.
Though.
If they're serious boozers, that could be an interesting flavor.
You'd like it all the more. It'd have
absinthe
like
ice cream,
a little rum.
With no artificial flavoring. That's just what the breast milk tastes like.
Right? How about that? Just came straight in. How do you like your Jack Daniels? I used to smoke breast milk cookies. Oh, I don't know if I enjoy those at all. But maybe I love them. I can't decide.
This breast milk cookie factory. Do you know anything about it?
No, and I don't want to.
Okay.
Seems like you're not going to make that many cookies either. Like how many? You gotta get a lot of breasts together, don't you? I don't know how much.
It'll be an ugly factory scene.
Yeah, that's the new Tupperware party. It's just a pumping party,
Right? Or if it's a guy that has to go and do the job and he just becomes burned out on boobs, I can't do it anymore, man. I used to love them, but every day, just at the teat, the big nipple every day. Oh God, here we go.
It's so true. You would desensitize, and it would be
just wreck it for you.
It'd be nasty.
Yeah, I like knees now. What knees turn me on? Because that's something I haven't seen in a while. It's a woman's knees.
How's your home life? Everything's
good. Everything's good. Yeah. I
know you're loving life, and
I'm doing all right. I'm good. I mean, I'm everybody else. I'm trying to figure out what's next. How to keep the ball in the air, keep doing stand up. It's interesting watching everything sort of morph and figure out where can you be on television, and do people watch television anymore, and what's happening in radio, and what's happening with the podcast, and where's the next thing, and you see Sheen's Corner and you wonder, funny, but suddenly people woke up and realized, Ustream's a thing. Like he sort of solidified that brand of whatever that is, and then you watch it and go, well, if the guy's enjoyable, this is almost as enjoyable as Jersey Shore or anything else I'm being given. And are people going to stake out a claim? I mean, if the podcasting thing is happening, are people going to stake out a claim in television on the internet? What do you think?
Yeah.
You're a pioneer. You're at the forefront of all this stuff.
Well,
What
I
do you
do think this is where it's all going. I mean, and the essence is to cut out the middleman, to get the distributor out of the game as much as possible, so you can go directly to your audience.
Well, years ago I was at the comedyworld.com, which was just a bunch of comedians in trailers doing radio, but essentially doing podcasts, and it was wildly unsuccessful and a huge waste of money. We all got overpaid, and the thing crashed and burned and that. But essentially, it was podcasting. It was just too early.
Right.
Like it just did the streaming capability.
And
people didn't
it also
understand.
paid people, and that part of the equation doesn't work.
You can't pay
anybody.
You can't pay a feature.
Yeah, so-
you can't pay a feature comedian $235,000 a year to sit in a trailer and think that business model's going to work.
Yeah.
Unless you've done so much amazing cocaine, like you got your coke from Keith Richards. That's how high you were when you got your investors. You all were in a room in San Francisco doing so much blow, and went, "Dear comedy radio." Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I'm guessing just from your description of the pay that it was late 90s.
Yes, it was. True was born in 2000, so it was 99.
99. That's
99, 2000. So it was right at that time.
business models did not have to make sense, and people were going, "You're brilliant. How did you conceive of
That's
it?"
when there would be like a Super Bowl, and there'd be like fingers.com. Do you got fingers? We got them too. .com. I don't know what that means. Do I have fingers?
I remember I went down to the Bay Area and had dinner with some friends who were all, caught up in that, and they were having a discussion about buy.com at the time. They had just launched, and they were saying buy.com is the most amazing business model. What they do is they buy products at a higher price than they sell them for.
That's brilliant.
And
man.
I was like,
that is.
that's how they're going to get market share. And I was like,
Yeah, no, it's
making my head
insane.
hurt.
I mean, you have to give those people credit because a lot of them are onto something that is now starting to pay off, right?
Yeah.
The in the form of the Funny or Dies or the other things that are like, okay, that idea you were ahead of your time. I mean, who's worse, those people or the people that are like, people are always gonna want CDs, man. People are always nope. When I get in my car, I'm gonna want to listen. Like I don't know, but people like something to hold. My daughters don't want something to hold. They don't know. Like there's yes, those old people may still want something to hold. We don't want to sell them anything. It's that new generation. It's trying to figure out where am I thinking about, when you look at your kids, my daughters have no relationship even to compact discs.
Yeah.
There's so few of them
That
around.
is weird. That's weird to think. My 18-year-old cousin from Germany is staying with us, and I come back from the radio station, and I will always hand her CDs, and she hands them back to me as fast. She loads them onto her computer and then gets them out of her hand as quickly as possible.
Right.
Will she actually listen to an album all the way through? That's what bugs me about the MP3.
I doubt it.
Not to go too far on a tangent.
No, I
There's
agree
something
with
to
you.
listening to an entire album and the experience. I mean, that's why people even bitched about CDs, was you could flip ahead too quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I doubt she ever does that. I'm sure she puts it on some kind of shuffle feature in iTunes. And by the way, her last name is Barrett.
BEHRENDT.
Exactly that
Right?
spelling. Yeah,
That's it, Barrett.
We'd mentioned in the past that somewhere our family tree connects.
Right.
She's a very successful family in Germany, the Barrett family. So
The Barents that's almost like Smith in Germany. It's a really popular name.
It's
And
kind of
over
a
here, it's an
German-themed
easily
Friday.
mispronounced guy that you mistake for somebody else. Are you Ty Pennington? Again, no. Again, no. Again, I can't build you a house. I mean, I can't believe this is still happening. No one's even watching his show anymore. How could you be saying that to me?
man, you must get gold treatment though when you enter Sears, right? Do they?
What do you need, sir? Back up the truck. Well, go ahead.
I think anyone that enters the Sears gets gold treatment these days because
they're
it's
happy
like
to see
somebody
you.
has
Yeah,
entered.
they're happy to see you,
somebody
big
has
time.
entered.
Yeah,
Sears.
Sears sort of fell off that as Target and those things came in. It's weird to watch that kind of thing evolve because I was a kid. Sears is where you went, man.
Yeah.
Sears, and that was like the place.
It is sometimes just it's a cultural. It's a trip through time to visit the massive Sears installation in Soto. Because it's still as big as it ever was. It's 18 stories tall, and
But
you
now
walk
they
in
just
there.
have people pumping breast milk in there instead of actual product. That's the difference.
We're going into breast milk cookies. Is that right? Yeah, we heard it today.
It's all the rage. Greg Barrett, it's always a treat to have you here. He's playing at Laughs over in Kirkland all weekend, unless that gets canceled by because we're all too depressed.
No, it's gonna.
This is exactly when we need comedy.
That's exactly right. You got to
When
come
there's
out,
tragedy.
come clown from the neck down, come on out, and enjoy an evening of comedy. Because I'll tear it up. I'll make you happy.
Of course, you're gonna.
I'll bring it together.
No
you know?
no doubt
And it's a good
about it.
club. It's a fun room. It's a good room.
Thanks for not forgetting about us here in the basement.
I love it. I'm telling you, wherever you go to do this thing, you're right. It's exciting, man. I'm telling you, this podcasting thing, like you keep saying it to people and they stare at you, and they're gonna keep staring at you. How they bring it up to you about a year from now, they're gonna go, "You should have." It's already happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you know,
because
there are
it's-
two groups of people that get it. Comedians get it, and musicians get it. And the reason the music industry gets it is because their industry already went off the cliff.
Right.
So they already had to reinvent
Well,
themselves.
now here's the interesting what you just said about records. People don't sit down and listen to records, but I do, and you do. My podcast is an hour, usually an hour, maybe hour, 15 minutes. And there are people every week, you do one a week, that listen to the entire thing all the way through.
Oh, you
and
can't-
No, that's a good point. You
and
can't
they-
just
and-
parachute in. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is there's no commercial breaks on our thing. So and you don't have to reset the whole, and they're following a story and they're in. So their attention span is there for the things that are really interesting to them. And the other thing you said is if you read Keith Richards' book, he basically explains, and he's true, there was no such thing as an album until the Stones and the Beatles sort of invented the idea of putting that together, creating that thing. And then in the 70s, that became a thing to have that event to listen to from top to bottom, an album. These kids are
Double albums.
Kids
even.
are
That
being
was-
raised on singles again. They're just being raised on singles. They wouldn't. Why? I mean, why would you do an entire Katy Perry record like that? Just
Well,
no
she
offense
did,
to Katy.
unfortunately, man.
No, I know.
she made one, yeah.
But
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
if you have to
guarantee
listen
you,
to
there's
it.
no. I guarantee you, there's no person that goes, man, that first Katy Perry record, cut for cut, the entire thing. Sometimes
That
I
really
just lay down
flowed.
on my basement, man.
It's cohesive.
That sequencing. I don't know who the producer was, but they knew what song flowed into the next.
Exactly.
It auto-tuned all the way through.
I'm going to say something kind of sacrilegious here. Aside from the Pink Floyds and the Beatles, even where those albums where they kind of blended one track into the next, I'm not sure if I needed to hear an entire album, even the classics, all the way through.
Sure.
I like to kind of like hunt and pick. And
No, not me.
Yeah, I know. It's sacrilegious for me to say that.
You'll do all three records of Sandinista back to back to back. No, I'm doing it. I'm taking the time. I'm going all the way down. I'm going to do
Yeah.
all of London Calling. Look, I love that too. But we made a surf record last year, 13 songs. I have a band called the Reigning Monarchs, and we made a surf record. And I know people that listen to it all the way through. I don't. And I made it. You know what I mean? We're going to make another one this year. We're going to do 6 songs. You know what I mean? Because I think also you want people to come to the party, and you don't want to. Sometimes people don't want to load up their, because they're buying for their machine now,
Yeah,
and they don't
yeah.
want. I don't want. I wonder
is
if I'm going to
true.
like the whole.
That's
I'm
a-
buying for my thing. I don't know. I wonder if I want to use all that
consideration,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, you kind of wonder about that.
I mean, I have a massive 120 gigabyte iPod, but even there, I'm kind of starting to max out. And every time I load a CD, I'm going, should I load all these tracks or should I just hunt and pick and
Yeah,
grab a few?
yeah.
But now that I'm putting the CDs away in storage, I go, yeah, I got to load the whole thing because I'm
Right.
never going to find that disc again. I should join the 21st century and just get rid of all the CDs.
Oh no, don't.
Really?
Are you saying no? How
I'm saying
come?
no. I don't know.
What for? Like one day I'm going to want to, flip through the liner notes on the B-52's Cosmic thing or whatever.
I don't know. I like my CDs, but I'm a late adapter to pretty much everything. I still have like a 1997
I like the
cell phone.
CDs too.
Barely
It-
texts.
Having
Yeah.
something tangible is important, but now it's just all off in storage because I don't have the space. I got
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's also, I keep saying that too. Like, I like to look at something until I stop looking at it, and then I don't look at them anymore. Now I just go to their website, or I listen to. The other thing is, there's so much information. If I want to see the band, I go to YouTube. I'm always curious when I hear a band. I'm always like, what do they look like? And I go right to YouTube. I don't go to their website. Because I know there'll be video of them either playing live that their friend put up, or a video that they've made if they have such those fun.
And you go to YouTube
So I go right to YouTube. I don't
because you think it's unedited.
no, it'll just be there. I know it'll be there.
Oh, I
YouTube
see.
is just like where everybody puts everything. Because
thought you
even
didn't
if
want-
put, even if it's on your website, it's probably housed at YouTube. So I'll just go there to see. I heard a blues band the other day called the Stone Foxes, and I thought they were awesome. And then I looked at them. I'm like, I think I'm just going to listen to them because they're just a bunch of regular.
They're
dudes.
not Stone Foxes.
They're not Stone Foxes,
Yeah.
but I went right to YouTube, and there they were in all their glory, and I got to see them before I went to the stonefoxes.com, which I did, and their website didn't give me half the information I got by, what I mean?
Just watching it.
Yeah, so I think there's a different way to find out.
So
who
how
a
are you
band is.
finding new music these days?
I'm trying. You know what? Occasionally, I will listen to the satellite radio. When I'm not listening to a podcast,
right.
I will occasionally listen to satellite because they'll just go song for song.
Yeah.
There'll be no interruption. And then when I won't know what something is, I'll Shazam it, and then I'll buy the single. But I'm actually not that on a big hunt for. I have found as I become me, I keep going back to the same things. So I don't buy that much new music. You know, song for song. You know, I'll buy a Blood Surfers or
Apparently nobody is. Therein lies the trouble with their business
I
model.
go back digging for old ska stuff. Like I really like that old, you know, Desmond Decker Satellites kind of thing. I like all my old surf stuff. You know, I like all that. I like all that stuff. You like new music?
Yeah, I get sent a lot of new music at the newspaper I work at. But I'm more of like an alt country guy.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Oh yeah.
So I like old music too, like big Lucinda Williams fan, and
Yeah,
James
yeah.
McMurtry, and
Sure. And you like the no depression bands? Those kind
I
of
do big time.
Rhett Miller's a buddy of mine.
No depressions. Yeah, no depressions here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Based in Seattle.
That's right. Yeah.
Greg Barrett this weekend at Laughs Comedy in Kirkland. Greg, thank you so much for coming by, man.
Thank you.
Always
great to see you.
Yeah. And you're looking awesome.
Success.
You keep looking younger and younger every time I see you. It's because of your skincare regimen.
That's what I do, man. It's just an eye cream. Just it doesn't matter which one. Just get one and put it on your eyes. And then wear dark sunglasses over it. All right, buddy.
Thanks very much. Greg Barrett, ladies and gentlemen, here on the podcast. And we're swapping guests like... It's like
a swingers party.
It's like a breast milk factory here. Just
yeah.
next, we'll milk the next. Thank you guys very much. Thanks for bringing.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye. See you guys later. David Lee Howard has been kind enough to hold over for us here because we want to get some more since there's so much talk about music and discovering
and Germany. Yeah,
and discovering music. So it's awesome that you hung out.
It was my pleasure listening to you guys gab.
Yeah, that's what we do. All right, what are you going to play for us next here, Dave?
Well, this is a kind of nature song. I was picturing the North America continent without the civilization that we created there in the last 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about what it was like to live there as a Native American, and that's the inspiration to this song. And at this moment, I don't remember the title, but by the time I get to the chorus, I'll remember the title.
That's wild.
The eagle flies to the rising sun, across the plains where the antelopes run, rivers crescent and water flows, towering mountains are capped with snow. The moose and elk, the buffalo, the otters playing in their den down below. We live a life, amazing grace, and all the children have found their place. And I know what this all means. It's a flow beyond our dreams. And we are all one step from heaven. We walk this land as our brothers ride the winds, and we will hold our hearts out to all our sisters, and our fathers are the sky. Mother sucking. Long before time was measured in a box, the spirits called from the earth and the rocks. And once a people lived on this land when no plow was needed, no heavy hand. And I know what this all means. It's a flow beyond our dreams. we are all one step from heaven. We walk this land as our brothers ride the winds, and we will hold our hearts out to all our sisters and our fathers of the sky. Mother Earth's our kin, our fathers of the sky. Mother Earth's our kin, our fathers of the sky.
Well, as they say in Germany, ach du lieber. Oh, my God.
Is that what they say?
That was what they would say in that situation.
Did you ever hear him say sagenhaft? Sagenhaft? That's like awesome. Sagenhaft.
I know fabelhaft.
Well, yes.
Fabelhaft is kind of awesome as well, but
True.
Sagenhaft?
Just segue into all German right now. For the
Right?
last
You want me
few
to
minutes.
all of a sudden just switch over?
Yeah, let's just do one podcast in German.
I would
sometime.
be too self-conscious to do that. Sounds very nice.
Thank you very much.
Your smoky voice. Is it a smoky voice? Is it is there smoking involved in that?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. You know, I used to warm up my voice, George Peckham style, who was one of the voice coaches in Seattle that helped everybody from Heart way back to the Sonics. And, you know, I used to warm up my voice and get it almost Pavarotti ready to record. And then I'd come off and I says, that's really not me. And now I just strive to sing as natural as possible. And my voice is my voice is my voice. What the hell can I do about it? I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And my own character comes through and I'm saying, well, I'm just not as queasy about it anymore. That's what it is, and I love it. And I've had a lot of success. And like last summer, I was in Berlin recording at the U2 REM David Bowie studios, the Hansa. It's right on the old where the wall used to be, and I recorded a single.
Yeah, REM, their new CD was recorded in part in that that studio.
I was right there, probably using the same mics. It was exciting. It was recorded last July. They released it in October, and it went #1. It was a actual duet with a German country singer. Her name is Jolina Karl. She is like Germany's #1 singer, and I got to do a duet with her. And it was #1 in their airplay charts for 2 months. So
I'll be damned.
A little bit of success from my voice.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Congratulations
Thank you.
on that. I always am fascinated by that, by like being successful in a completely different world and a completely different culture, and you have no inclination to move to Europe, right?
No, I love touring there. I just couldn't live there. I'd have to work forever if I lived there. It would be the death of me. I mean, it's too strenuous. I have to be up for the game. I have to concentrate. I got to take care of myself. I got to do yoga every day, which I don't mind. And I got to be real careful about drinking. And you're going to these places that have the most amazing beverages from that region. So I don't start drinking until I'm just about ready to drive. I know that sounds crazy, but I have.
I love it.
Wow, there's a slogan.
There's a song.
That's a great song title.
But I'm just having one drink. I'll have the beer that everybody raves about, because if I started drinking early, I'd want 3 or 4. So I just have the one, and I say, hey, this has been great. Thanks for the taste. Or I'll try the Pinot Noir if I'm in France. And then it keeps me away from there.
But when you're back home in Lake Stevens, it's just a 6-month bender, right?
Not really. No.
Okay.
I play a lot of coffee shops. And I play the Conway Muse the first Sunday of every month now, which is a concert venue in Conway.
I know the Conway Tavern.
It's right down the street.
Okay.
It's that red barn by the bridge, by the baseball field. And that
I know this, but I know
Those
what
are
he's
old
talking
school directions.
That's all you need in Conway.
Yeah,
When
by
he
the
says
bridge, by
on
the
that
basement.
one street, he means the one street.
Sure.
Well, it is another roadside attraction. I mean, that's exactly what all the hippies living out there and the farmers.
It's Tom Robbins' country too. He's right down the road.
I mean, Conway was what it was based on. That had I read that book, I would have moved there in the 70s.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, when do you start your European sojourn this go around?
I'm going over for 2 weeks in April to play for the Frankfurt International Music Messe for Hofner Guitars and Shadow Pickups. And I'll be performing at various venues. It's like an instrument music fair, and that's really important. It's international. And then my summer tour starts the 13th of June through the 13th of September. And that's all on WWOL. Actually, World Wide Web is shorter than WWW, isn't it? DavidLeeHoward.com.
David Lee Howard, our guest today, along with Greg Barrett, stand-up comedian who's performing this weekend at Laughs in Kirkland. Coming up next week, a representative. I'm running in a race to support the American Lung Association. They do a lot of good work on cleaning, on improving air quality. They're going to come here into the Moldy Basement and actually do a test on.
Seriously?
It's a free
that's
service
sweet.
that they
All right.
offer. They come around and they sample all kinds of environments here to see how clean or how foul the Moldy Basement actually is. Tuesday, a frequent co-host is actually coming in as a guest to perform. Drew Dundon, comedian Joe Rogan. On Wednesday. Thursday, it's St. Patrick's Day. We'll be Skyping with a guest from Ireland and also getting reports from South by Southwest. And that is the same for Friday as well. South by Southwest kicks off this next week in Austin. So we'll have live reports from South by Southwest both Thursday and Friday of next week. That's what's coming up on the podcast. Be sure to get your copy of Live from the Moldy Basement Volume 1, which is available through the website, martyreamer.com, and has 18 tracks, 18 performances that took place right here in the moldy and perhaps infested, we'll find out on Monday, basement. Mike, a pleasure having you here.
Oh, anytime, man. Anytime.
You bring a lot to the game. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks also to our guest, David Lee Howard. David Lee Howard, we'll put a link to his website on ours as well, and also to Greg Barrett. Always a pleasure having him here as well. We'll get you hooked up with his podcast so that you can go straight to the source for that. Have a wonderful weekend. All the best to Yaz's family and the people of Japan. Oh, God, that ends on a downer note, doesn't it?
Oh, it's okay. It's the right note to end on.
Is that it? Is that
I
it?
think so.
And then we'll see you again Monday morning, 9:30, live here from the basement.
Wholly independent since 2009, this has been the Marty Reamer Show podcast. For more information about topics discussed, visit our website, martyreamer.com. That's MartyRiemer.com. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast. Tell your friends. They look nice. Oh, and to subscribe to our podcast, that too. The Marty Reamer Show is a production of Twisted Scholar Incorporated. Remember, in America, a corporation is a person too. I'm your ruggedly handsome announcer, Blair Schultz. See you next time. Word out.
Bye-bye, Daddy. Bye-bye, Yaz.